Hey, it's Devanika from Retirement Wellness SA. Now, at this point in time, you're in a position where you are contemplating resignation, and perhaps you're like the member that has asked me this question, which is, can you run out of money if you have to resign from the GEPF? Now, in this video, I'm going to talk you through income options that are available if you resign, but more importantly, I want to show you mistakes that members have made and how they have run out of money. So short answer to this question is yes and no. You could run out of money or you could not run out of money. It all depends on how well your planning is. Now, if you're thinking that you want to resign from GEPF so that you can control your money and you want to take all of that out and enjoy the lifestyle that you're seeing in the background here, that's probably one of the decisions that's going to lead to you running out of money. And I'm going to take you over to the iPad so that I can explain to you why this could take place. Now, what I want you to bear in mind is, let's assume this is your money that's sitting inside of GEPF. You've got two options in which you could access this money. The first option is you could take this through and receive a cash payment, or you could transfer this to what's called an approved fund. Now, you might know of a preservation fund being an approved fund, but I want you to bear in mind, it's not the only approved fund. So we have to think this one through before making that decision. But what I want you to see is there are two routes that you can take, two avenues. If you had to draw this money in cash, then you're able to have that money with you, and you then have the freedom to do with this as you please. If you have to take the money and put it to an approved fund, in essence, you need an insurance company, and the insurance company will provide you with some options on how to manage this money. So we're going to look at both of these options inside this video. First, let's start to have a look at what happens from a cash perspective. On a cash perspective, I'm sure you can see it. The red flags probably already, you can hear the siren in the background. What we want to be mindful here is what happens from a tax perspective. Now, I want to get out the latest tax guide for you. And just on that note, remember when you're working with this to work with the latest tax guide, this video was shot in 2022. So I'm working with the tax guide that was applicable as of that period. So let's pull up that tax guide for you. Okay, so you can see it here. This is the budget tax guide for 2022. And we're going to scroll down to the section that applies to retirement fund lump sum capital. So you can see this here. It says retirement fund lump sum benefits or severance pay. Now, your lump sum would go according to the sliding scale. So the tax, meaning you can see it here for the first 500,000, there's no tax. And then from 500,000 to 700,000, it's 18%. From 700,000 to 1,050,000, it's jumping up to a higher percentage. It's now 27%. And then it jumps up to 36% being the maximum. So you want to be mindful of this because the tax hasn't happened as yet. And in this video, you can see what would happen if you had to cash out. Now, to make this look easy, I'm going to use an example. And in my example, I'm going to, because it's 1,050,000 here, I'm just going to use a round figure and say you are retiring with, or you have in your resignation value, 5,050,000. Again, just to make the math look easy. So you can see it's 130,000 plus 36% of whatever exceeds 1,050,000. So just remember the 1,050,000, and I'll guide you through the calculation on this one quickly. It's going to be easy. I'll do all the calculations. So nothing for you to be concerned about. So I'm saying your resignation benefit is 5,050,000, but you now have this system that I'm going to show you. So you can always do the calculation using your own videos, using your own figures. You can press pause or rewatch this video in order to make sure you're doing this calculation correct. Then we said for the first 1,050,000, SARS is going to tax you, let's work tax here. SARS would tax 130,500. Right? And now I want to find out what's the difference. So if I took that away, so if I took this 5 million minus 1,050,000, because the first 1,050,000, we know it's 130,000. Whatever is more than 1,050,000, in this example, you can see that's 4 million. So if I take 5,050,000 minus 1,050,000, it's 4 million. That 4 million at 36% tax. So you, on your calculator, you're going to do 4 million times 36%. And that's the tax that is paid on that 4 million. In essence, on each million, you're going to pay 360,000. So let's go and add up that tax. I've done the calculation for you. It's 1,440,000. So which means your total tax here is this figure. So 1,570,500. Let's go and have a look at the figures again clearly, right? We said there's 5,050,000 that you have in my example, minus the tax that you're going to pay is 1,570,500. So let's work that out as a difference for you. So 5,050,000 minus 1,570. That means you are going to receive in your hand or in your bank account as an after-tax amount, in my example, 3,479,500. Now, you can see what immediately takes place here is there's a loss of 1.5 million. Now, I just want you to think about how long it took you to earn that money. How long did it take you to earn 1.5 million? How many years of service have you given in order to get 1.5 million? And it's lost in a flash. In a split second, that tax is taken away. Again, if you're opting the route to have this money withdrawn in cash, it then leaves you with 3.4 million to invest, which now means you want to go back either to an insurance company for them to invest to pay you an income, or you're taking this to a bank, some bank product in order to earn interest, or perhaps you're getting into a property. But whatever your route is, you now have 3.4 million having to buy that income for you versus what you started off with, which is 5 million. Now, I'm sure you'd agree that if you have 5 million available, it's naturally going to last you a lot longer than 3.4 million. So going the cash route is dangerous for that reason. And just from a tax perspective, a huge chunk of your money could be lost to SARS. And because of that, it could place you at a risk where you could run out of money. So that's the one element that I want you to pay attention to. The second, from the approved fund. So let's start to analyze. If you now transfer this money, so you took this money from GEPF, you move that through to an approved fund. Now the approved fund gives you an option. You could split this money. So you could see from here, you could take a portion of this in cash. That benefit is still subject to tax, but usually that is about 1/3. So it's up to 1/3. And in my example, you could see here, we used 5,050,000. So all that we'll do is 5,050,000 divided by 3. That sort of gives you a rough idea as to what this would be. That's about 1,683,000 that you get as a cash amount. The same tax table applies, meaning it's the same tax rate that would come into play. But because you're taking less than 5 million, the tax itself is much lower now. And here's a key secret for you. Would you like to know it? Good, I'm about to share it. It's this. The amount that's being transferred here, so this is your 2/3. There's no tax here. So because there's no tax here, you have the full portion that's left behind that can now be invested and then used to generate an income. So let's recap. You'll have a portion that's paid in cash, and then you'll have a portion that's being transferred to the insurance company. The portion that's paid in cash, you're going to pay some tax on this. It depends on how much that amount works out to. And the portion that's transferred, there's absolutely no tax. Now, the insurance company has different ways to pay you an income. In fact, there's 5 different ways to pay you an income. So after the money is here, you now can choose one of those 5 ways. And the key thing here is all those ways provide you with what they call an income for life, meaning their primary purpose is to ensure that you are receiving an income for as long as you live. So it continues and continues and continues until such time that you are not around. The main difference here between retiring and resigning is inside of resignation, you have the opportunity to invest this money in a way where you can start to grow your capital. So you can have more than what you started off with from GAPF, you can grow it. You can also sustain it, meaning that you can ensure that this capital is providing you with that, not just the income, but is available for the people that you love. So it's available for your spouse. If you don't have a spouse, it's available for your kids or whomever you choose. So you have that degree of flexibility here. But the key here is there's two options for you. And this is how, if the planning is done well in advance and done properly with the right guidance, you can ensure that you don't run out of money because you can make this decision in advance. You can understand what happens from a cash perspective. You can understand how the approved fund works, which is the correct approved fund. You can be in a position to determine which amount to take as a lump sum. And you can also be in a position to determine the kind of income that you want and how do you ensure that you're creating a legacy for generations to come. Great, so I hope you found this video helpful. In fact, I'd like to know from you which aspect you found most helpful to you. Is there something that is still doubtful for you? So is there something where you believe, hey, you could perhaps still run out of money if you resign? Post a comment below and let me know so that we can have a look at it. Perhaps I might do a video to analyze that for you and provide you more insights as well. Remember to click the thumbs up sign if you found this helpful. And also, I encourage you to subscribe to the channel so that you're able to get these videos as soon as we put them out.